Welcome to Harvard Spotlight on the Arts. Joe Conrad is in the studio today. He's the Executive Director for the Shower Arts and Activities Center. We're going to discuss the winter season into spring. Welcome.
And when you say winter season, it's about 0 degrees outside right now. So
Yes.
thank you for letting me come in out of the cold.
And thank you for being here. You've been on board with the Shower Center for almost over 6 months. You started in August and got your feet wet, and now you're fully immersed in the upcoming acts, talents, shows, if you will, that are going to be gracing the stage and getting more comfortable with what these groups are.
The first half of the season has been fantastic, and the Christmas season was absolutely delightful, wonderful. We had some really nice crowds there, got to meet a lot of people, and have been welcomed so nicely by the community. So this has just been a very good opening for me to get an understanding of what's going on with the Shower Center.
Okay. Now, we're taping this mid-January, and I just wanted to mention the last act of January, if I have that correctly, is on January 30th, and that'll be Peter, Paul, and Willie.
Yes. I had to find out who these guys were, so you can YouTube anybody. And these are 3 individuals who have been performing around the Midwest. They are phenomenal. They are acoustic guitar players. They are singers extraordinaire, and they bring their own crowd and their own following wherever they go.
Wow.
But they got together and decided they would love to perform together on the stage individually and then come together at the end. This is going to be a very big event for the Shower Center, and I think that they're going to bring a big crowd to the theater.
Is it folk music?
It's kind of folk music, but kind of a little avant-garde and some modern things and some, I'm not sure what they're all going to do, but they are very, very entertaining. Blues and, a lot of different things.
Okay, and that's one show on the 30th,
And that's
correct?
one show on the 30th, yes.
Okay, and they could get tickets online, or?
They can go up to the window, or they can get tickets online, or they can walk up at the end, but make sure you get a seat, because I'm not sure what'll happen with this one.
Yeah,
So,
and I know that we're near the end of that
Yeah.
time. So moving into February is going to be a very busy month.
yes.
Very busy. And I believe what you have starting out there would be Goodnight Moon and the Runaway Bunny. I know that that's kind of a children's, I'm assuming.
Those are geared for families.
Right.
They're geared for grandmas and grandpas to take their grandchildren out to a
Yeah.
play and get them to see what the theater is. But I think it's so important that we give kids a theater opportunity and the theater experience, let them see how exciting it is to see live performance on the stage, just because if they lose that opportunity, if they miss it, if they get to be in their teens or older and have never done that, there'll be a day when they don't have to.
Okay.
They can stream it, they can download it or whatever, and then what does that do to live theater? So we're trying to perpetuate and make live theater for the future stable by training and bringing up our kids right so they can see what it's all about.
Okay, great. February 12th, Hot Club of San Francisco. That's going to be a gypsy jazz swing.
And this is going to be a fun one because that's the day before Thanksgiving. If you are Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. What am I saying? So
That's okay.
Sorry
It's
about
cold
that.
out.
Yeah, it's cold out. My brain still hasn't thought
Yes.
out. But that's the day before Valentine's Day. And if you want your date, if you want somebody you really want to impress, if you want them to think that you are just cutting edge and you are, just a progressive and love and romantic and dreamy, and bring them to this. Because this is going to be just incredibly virtuoso musicianship, kind of gypsy music. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but they're going to be storytellers and interaction with the crowd. And in some cases, they're going to have some old silent movies playing in the background while they're making up the soundtrack to it and playing along. This is going to be an incredible evening. And so bring your dates.
Yes, and then Saturday night, they could also return or choose that night, either Friday night, the Hot Club of San Francisco, or Saturday night, the Cinema Vivant.
Vivant. Yes.
So 2 really fun groups.
This is going to be very good, yeah.
And if it's cold out, that'll keep them warm.
That will keep you warm, yes it will.
This is true. On Sunday then, excuse me, I've skipped ahead here. On Friday, the following week, is Chicago Comedy Night. This sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. 2 guys coming in That'll be up in the Pikes Peak?
Yeah, this is one of our cabaret presentations, and you can buy a drink, you can go up to the bar, you can bring it to your table, and just have this relaxing evening of just laughs.
Yeah.
And and everything I've seen in the cabaret series so far has just been so incredibly fantastic, just because the people get in the mood, and the surrounding and the atmosphere is just so lighthearted and nice. And a little wine does not help, it does not hurt with that. And so yeah, it'll be a fun evening.
It'll be a great
Yeah.
date night again,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, then moving on to the 21st, so that would have been Friday, the 19th was the Chicago Comedy Night. We have David Landau, and that's Music and Laughter. And I don't really recognize the name Landau. And what he will bring, I'm assuming, is going to be a comedy singing.
And I'm sure that's
Piece.
what it is, and so I'm not 100% sure what this one is.
Okay.
But again, it's going to be a fun night, so.
Okay, all right. Now, the next group I'm going to talk about, steel bands became really popular, I'm going to say in the 80s, 90s maybe.
Okay.
And it's an island rhythm and good vibes group, as they call themselves. But the Steel Crazy Steel Band will be at the Shower Center on Friday and Saturday, February 26th and 27th. And to me, that's a really great time of the year to bring in a group like this, just because it does make you feel like maybe you're in Jamaica or, one of the tropic places where steel drums are still being
Yes.
widely used.
Well, and it's got that reggae rhythms, which is very popular now, and there's going to be singing in the background music. But I heard a thing on the news the other day, or wherever I heard this, that said the music is absolutely the best way to snap your brain back to some experience that you've had. If you've ever been to Jamaica, if you've ever been, even the Hawaiian Islands or something like that,
Yeah.
and you love that, and all of a sudden you just shut your eyes and you're back there again. And so it's kind of a way to re-experience the
Neat.
trip that you might have taken.
Sure.
And again, it's a good date night. And it's just that camaraderie of everybody in the audience who can kind of talk about their experiences and where they've been and what they did, and then be captivated and carried away again by this group. They're very fantastic.
And it looks like they're a pretty large group. I didn't count out loud how many were in the picture there, but
Yeah.
it certainly is going to be some great sound.
Yeah.
So, a Southern String Band will be coming in the beginning of March here, March 4th. And they call this the Audience Choice Show.
Yes.
And MIPSO, am I pronouncing that
Yes.
right?
First off, we thought we had discovered this incredible bluegrass band. And
Okay.
you got to remember, bluegrass has had a lot of variations. You can go back to Bill Monroe for the early bluegrass, but then you had Newgrass Revival, which was kind of a more heavy, almost rock type bluegrass. And now you're into this youth movement in bluegrass that is just so pure, and the harmonies are so tight, and they're just so emotionally have impact in their playing. And so we thought we had discovered them, and we introduced them to our group that kind of looks over performers to see if we want to bring them in. It's kind of a focus group, and they were the winners of that. And then I was watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day, so this time I got Thanksgiving right. It was a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, and you know how they zero in on certain groups where they kind of stand along the side and actually perform along with?
Yes.
And there was MIPSO. So all of a sudden, now we find out that this group that we discovered, and I'm not sure that we could afford them anymore because they've gotten so hot, but we had a contract on them for a long time, and they are going to pack the house, and they are going to be so incredibly good. And if you're a guitar player, you love the instrumental parts of it, or just the harmonies, or just bluegrass in general, this is going to be a good show. And it's for young and old, because these are young people that are doing this. It's going to be
Okay.
very good.
All right. Moving along then into, we have a couple shows coming up again for family. And we'll start off with the storytelling and juggling person, Bob Kane.
These-
And,
yeah.
it's kind of like what we had said earlier. These are great venues, again, to bring the family out. Adults will enjoy these just as much as your family of children will.
And these, and it's called Tykes and Pikes,
Right.
also up in the Pikes Peak
Right.
room. But this is designed to bring in kids in that 5, 6, 7, maybe a little bit older range, to give them that first experience in a theater.
Okay.
It's designed on their level. These are kind of the kind of performers that kind of play to that crowd. They're kind of caricatures. They're kind of maybe a little cartoonish in a certain way.
Sure.
But they relate to those kids, and they are fantastic. And the price is right, so you can bring your kids and have a good time.
Great. That's awesome. You have an exciting addition to the Shower Arts and
Yes.
Activities Center, and I think a lot of our audience and a lot of just people in our community are going to be amazed that you were able to contract this guitar player, and it's Daryl Sturmer.
Daryl Sturmer is from Milwaukee. When I was a kid, long time ago, in my 20s, we would go down to bars in downtown, down Brady Street and on the east side of Milwaukee to see Daryl Sturmer play with a group called Sweet Bottom. And he was fantastic, and he would take the solos, and when it was done, he would levitate you right off the ground. He was so fantastic, and people would cheer when he was done. And then a group in England called Genesis lost their guitar player for some reason. They put out an international thing and said, who wants to, audition for this job? And somebody talked Daryl Sturmer into going and auditioning for it, and he got the gig. And so for the last 30 years, Daryl Sturmer has been a superstar, traveling with Genesis, or Phil Collins, if you remember him, in his tour, because he was the Genesis lead singer. And now he's back in Milwaukee. He is doing performances in the area and writing music and basically, living here. But every once in a while, he goes out as the Genesis Experience with the full light show, just like Genesis, and a singer that they bring in then from California. And we got him booked here for March 12th, and for two shows, a matinee and an evening. We're gonna pack the house. This is fantastic. Go on YouTube and type in Daryl Sturmer and see some of the performances that he's done and what that looks
Okay,
like.
that's a great idea.
It is like going to the Coliseum and seeing Genesis with exactly many of the same musicians. It's going to be a fun night.
Okay, and that's at 3 o'clock and 7:30 on
Right.
Saturday, March 12th, that will be.
Yep.
And then moving on into April, a very exciting act. And we were talking about this before we went on camera. And Marty Stewart is going to grace the stage for two shows, one at 2 and one at 7:30.
Marty Stewart is probably even better known than Daryl Sturmer,
Okay.
because Marty Stewart was a child prodigy string player who played with the Johnny Cash Band, and for many years when he was in his later teens, and has been in the country music industry. He's a regular on the Grand Ole Opry. He is on RFD television show, has his own television show. So we have a television star that's coming to the Shower Center, and we got him for two shows. He will be coming here, and when that word got out, it's already half sold out. And this we're talking about till April, and two shows at that.
Right.
But this is going to be sold out, and if you want tickets for this, what I found out in Hartford is people want to wait till right at the end to make sure that nothing conflicts at the end. But I'm gonna tell people in this particular case, this is gonna sell.
X that date out on your calendar.
that date
You're
out
going to
on
be
the-
busy,
yeah,
either at 2
yeah.
o'clock or 7:30, and then Saturday, April 2nd.
Yep.
So before we close out, I'll be having you back in hopefully a warmer month to finish out the season at the Shower Arts and Activities Center. I was talking with you about the vision of the Shower Center and you being a relatively newcomer back to Hartford anyway, I should say. And we were talking about the original mission B. Shower had wanted when she gave her generous donation to the Shower Arts and Activities Center. And let's just let our viewers know what that is.
One of the things that a Shower Center is most known about, so if you just talk to anybody about the Shower Center, the thing that probably had most contact with is going to one of our shows. And so that seems like a very important part of what the Shower Center is. Or they might have gone to a wedding or gone to different things, because we have the Pikes Peak Room and the bar, and we do a lot of weddings there. But the truth of the matter is, and I think B. Shower set it up this way, and I truly believe this, is the most important thing that we do there is the School of the Arts. And all of those other things are designed to make a little bit of money to support the School of the Arts. Because the School of the Arts is not self-sustaining. For the small amount that we charge the kids to be part of the school, we have to take that and turn around and pay a director. We have to pay the instructors. Hopefully there'll be a little bit left over to put towards the heat or something like that. But really, we don't collect that much. So we need to have some other support. And that's why when we do these programming and the different thing for the performers, we want to have high-level acts. We want to have artistic acts. We want to bring the arts to town. But we also need to bring some things that's going to fill the seats, that's going to make some profit so that we can pay the payroll and we can move forward with the School of the Arts. The one thing that kind of just drove that home to me one time was when I first moved here, and I had a worker doing some roof work on my house. And he said to me, "You're the executive director at the Shower Center, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, I want to thank you." He said, "My daughter is 13 years old. She started taking ballet lessons at the Shower Center School of the Arts when she was 5. She's been doing it for 8 years. She's been in all of their productions, all of their performances, any chance she gets. She is now auditioning for colleges and looking forward to the different things that she's going to do in her life." And she said, "That would not have been possible for us if that wouldn't have been here in Hartford, so that she could take advantage of that."
Wow.
That's the important thing of what the Shower Center brings to the city of Hartford,
Right.
and what just makes it such a special place. And anytime people can support it, that's what they're supporting in our community. So,
And it really is a wonderful location because we have so many other communities surrounding us that are able
Yes.
to utilize the Shower Center
Yep.
specifically for that purpose.
we have Alice in Wonderland coming up this weekend, so we didn't mention that because, by the time we get on the air, it might be past. But when you watch these kids who come from around the different cities,
Yeah.
and you see the experience that they're getting in life, just as a workforce development, just learning how to be a team, how to
Sure.
practice, how to work together, how to, that practice makes perfect, and just breaking down those barriers of being able to talk to people and be, the extroverts and stuff like that.
Sure.
And you watch these kids and you say, I think someday I'm going to see that kid because they're just so captivating. And maybe someday I'm going to see them on television because that's the kind of talent that we have in Hartford, and that's the kind of talent that we're developing for the world, really.
Wonderful.
So,
Well, thank you for your time today.
thank you very much. Very glad to be here.
And to our viewers, as always, thank you for watching.